So I bought one of these anvils. Alex Steele here on YouTube. So he bought a bunch of cheap Amazon anvils, and he said these ones were pretty legit. So I went ahead and bought one because I've always wanted one. Now I need to figure out a way to mount it, and I've got an idea. I went and I raided the drops bin at the local steel spot. I found me some of these 12 by 3 by quarter wall C-channels, and then I found this, I believe that's 3/16. Yeah, 3/16 by whatever that is. It fits I-beam. You can see in here that's going to work really well for dropping some 1/2 by 13 bolts, right? So what we're going to do here, whatever this width is, go a little wider, about 1 inch, take a slice off. We'll have a base, turn that 90 degrees, and that will sit on top of all of this. And anvil sit right about here, right where you strike at. So I'll have to cut this with oxyacetylene because I don't have a saw big enough to handle all of it. Now, from what I understand, you want your anvil to be right about the bottom of your strike. So you need the top of this to be right about, it looks like 3 feet to me. So maybe 34 inch. So just need to run some numbers here and figure out what to cut. So like I said, I don't have any saws big enough for this. We're going to use the oxy-torch, but I'm not real good with the oxy-torch. So what we're going to do is cut outside of this line. This is going to be our base, the upper base that the anvil will actually attach to, and then this will be the lower base that'll have weights and probably wheels at some point. Anyway, we're going to cut outside this line and then clean those up with a grinder. Oh, and for all the safety Nazis, I had boots on today. Just because the company is named Flip Flop Fabrication doesn't mean that I always wear flip-flops. Just most of the time. Anyway, so I got to cut my 20 inches out of this piece. It says right here SDI USA, and I'm stoked that we're using American steel. So we're going to cut the 20 inches out of the middle and have a lot of waste, but then that means the final piece gets that stamped in it. I think we're just going to kind of laser eyeball these cuts. I'm not sure what the procedure really is for cutting I-beams. I don't think I've ever cut an I-beam except with a saw. So, I'm just going to go for it, I guess. I hate grinding, and I've got a lot of it to do still, but this is the basic idea here. And that'll do, donkey.
Let's get started.
Well, it's the next morning. Underneath that hood is a concoction of white vinegar, well water, and hydrogen peroxide. If you know anything about chemistry, you know what's in there. I'm a little scared to take this hood off. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good stuff right there. Yeah. Let's see what we did here. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna grind the welds, but then I realized that looks really cool. I think it'll match with the anvil really well. So we're gonna grind them all down, make them all smooth like they were never there. So, we want a 1/2 inch bolt. Put it about 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch. Clean up the shop real quick. We're going to be putting 1/2 by 13 bolts in the bottom of that thing. So that is 27/64s, I believe. What? Oh. Quarter 20, 1/8. What? There we go. 1/2 by 13, 27/64s. Yeah. So, grab some drill bits, head around to the press. My drill press is all the way around back in the shed. So I should just be able to string the extension cord, get this done. Not sure. Last time I drilled anything, I was pulling weight out of a 150-pound kettlebell to make it a little less. I think I made it 143. We're gonna find out. Out here in my crappy little shed. Drill some pilots, about 1/8. Alive. Nope. Oh, that was close. Alright, probably should find some cutting fluid of some type. Hopefully this GoPro stays on. It's really hot out here. It's well over 100 degrees. So a lot of times when I'm drilling a hole that I know needs to be tapped, I will find my top bit 2764s and lay it out. That way, I know not to go past it. You know what I mean? I'll keep changing up bit sizes to go bigger and bigger, and then forget what I was doing and just miss. Well, this one went all the way through. It started poking through, so I just went ahead and through drilled it. So we'll just go ahead and through drill the rest. Taking little steps. I'm up to a 1/4 inch, and I'll go up to whatever, and then probably finish off. Ooh, hot. I went and grabbed a clamp because the spindle speed is a little high for my taste, and we're on the slowest pulley size, so can't slow it down anymore. So clamp her down just to keep things a little safe here. If you're wondering what I'm using for cutting fluid, Walmart brand canola oil, because it's cheap and it works. Oh, last one. Oh, it's hot. I will say, I was taking a risk buying a Chinese anvil off of Amazon, but as you can see, it drills like steel, and when you hit it with a hammer, it rings and bounces back. So I think it's legit, which is awesome considering, you know, they're $100. I think I'll go grab the tap and at least start start the threads in the shit. Damn it. Anyway, hey, who makes a really nice tap wrench? Because I just got one of these crappy ones that, you know, falls apart and the thing slips out all the time. I wouldn't mind investing in like a really fancy one. Although I don't tap that many holes, but you know. I was thinking about this. There would have been no way for me to not make these through holes because I don't have a 1/2x13 bottoming tap. I just have standard taps, so it had to be this way. Oh well. Damn, I may need to clamp this to something bigger. Hey, don't stick an impact wrench on taps. No matter how nice you think the threads are, it's gonna break it off. Luckily there's plenty down here. I can just turn it right out. But yeah, whoops. I usually get looked at funny when I do this, but if you're tapping a hole by hand and you need it to be relatively straight, go get you a socket that's bigger than your tap wrench, but where the 12 point is roughly the size of your tap. Use that as a guide to start, and you will get a relatively straight start, just like that. And then pop your wrench off, lube her up, and then I like to start always with this before moving on to this. Come on. Come on. Just like that. Well, had to go do some running around this morning, pick up this rebar and some hardware and whatnot. When I left, it was probably only 80 degrees, felt nice. But I don't know, it's actual like 95, 100 right now. So this is gonna be a warm one, boys. So my plan here is, well, I don't really have one. I know I want 2 loops on either side and then 2 single wide loops on either end. So I think what I'll do, that's about 2 inches, call it 2.5. Right? By, we'll do 8 inches. 8 inches plus 2.5. Whoa. Yeah, 8 inches plus 2.5. Twice. 5, 13 inches. So I'll cut one of these 13. We'll measure in, put it in the vise, burn it, bend it. Oh, I've got this old, I built this cane. I hurt my knee at work. And it was a night shift, so I just went ahead and built one of these out of stainless DOM, 8th wall. So it's a strong, anyway, I'm thinking that'll work great. So I ended up measuring in 2.25. I'm hoping that I can get this rosebud to heat up pretty accurately, and I can get away with bending right about where I want it. If not, whatever, they don't have to be perfect. Too wide. Dang it. Well, okay, so we need to measure in. I mean, I don't really like that. I want it to be about a 1/2 inch less. I got more. We'll do it again. All right, same deal. 13 inch, but this time I measured in 2.5, both sides, just like I said originally. Maybe I should listen to myself. I don't know. I don't know. I think I want to go even skinnier. It is smaller by about a 1/2 inch.
Drop that. Drop that. Hey, yeah.
Went ahead and brought all this out for the studio because it's got AC. Getting a little tired of sweating to death. So all we've done here is I ran these all across a wire wheel. Couldn't quite get in there, but whatever. So I'm just going to wipe them down. A little bit of that acetone. And then I ground the mill scale off these sides. I don't really need to TIG weld these on. But like I said, we got AC, and I'm getting a little tired of sweating to death, so TIG welding, that's what we're going to do. Anyway, when I turn the AC on and the welder on, it's loud as hell in here, so you're not going to be able to hear me anyway. So enjoy some music.
Wow.
Torch is getting a little warm, but you can see I just ran across these tops. I'll come back and hit the bottoms. We're getting somewhere. I knew I should have bought the 250, which is water cooled. I bought this one instead. So maybe I'll get the 250 since I got everything else right there, and then I wouldn't have to slow down because the torch is getting hot. Yeah, I royally screwed that one up. Whatever. Well, we took a little break, let everything cool off. Even with the AC going, it still gets pretty warm in here. I think it's because we're creating extra heat, you know, with the torch. Anywho, we're gonna run across all the tops. I'm gonna flip this thing over on the table and get the bottoms, and that part will be done. Hopefully, the casters show up here soon because I have an idea how I'm gonna mount those.
Rewind, come again.
the noise. Taking a little break here. I don't know if you can see the just sweat pouring off me. I mean, the AC is on, but we're creating a lot of heat. That torch is only rated at 150 amps, and I've got 150 dialed in. I'm not using all of it, but it's still getting pretty hot, so I'm gonna give it a couple minutes. Get back to it. I think I'm gonna get the Flexi, not the twist lock, but the flex head water cooled. Yeah. Probably use that for just about everything. I don't know if it's like super obvious or not, but I'm working on the kind of wings, the standoffs, whatever, for the casters, and looks like I'm short 4 3/8 of a piece of 1 1/4 3/16. Building it out of real heavy stuff because I want it to be heavy. Y'all may not know this about me, but ever since I graduated from building things out of wood, building things out of metal, I really don't enjoy working with wood. Anyway, what we're going to do is build a jig. That way I can set each piece at exactly the correct height. And you know I'm rocking a metal blade on here because I'm too lazy to change it. Yeah, I definitely should have put a wood blade on there, but whatever. So the idea here is we could put the mounting plate here, and that'll give us our exact 2.36 inches off of the deck, and then that'll hold it 90 degrees or roughly enough, and then my little wings can get welded onto the base in the right orientation. Then we just have to put the plates on top of that. Should be straight. Off camera I put a little notch in it just so I could put a clamp to hold that, but everything looks like it's pretty square. That might be the crooked one. It is. Let's do banging on that one. That should be square at the right height, and then ha 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 ha, yeah. Just quickly tossed one on there with a couple of bolts, because the idea here is you press down on this. Yes, that's gonna be awesome. Here we are, back where we started. Moment of truth here. So I get this thing up off of here. Whew. Obviously that's the wrong way. There we go. Alright. So she sat down. So in theory here, all we should have to do is go up. Hey yo, what's up? Where's the hammer? Give me a hammer. This is gonna be loud. Oh, that fucking rings. We're gonna have to do something about that. But go. Yeah, I need to put some silencers on there, but fix that ring. So yeah, my thinking here is set it down, you know, for when you really need to beat on something. But if she's stashed over in the corner, you know, and you just move it somewhere real quick, put your little thing and ding, you know, it's plenty strong for that. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're back at it again here with this thing. So, as you can see, we've got her moving. It's in a condition that it's usable. Still got some finishing welding to do and whatnot, but the next step that I want to do is make a home for all these little things, all these metal shaping and punching deals, and I think I can get away with it with a bit of sheet steel. I'm not sure. Well, this is kind of the plan here. Something along these lines. But wouldn't you know, that's the only piece of sheet I have. So I may need to go pick some up. Or, alternatively, I do have some 1/8 inch flat bar. I could probably make little cups for those to hang out in. And maybe some shelves. I mean, if you're gonna have an anvil, use it to make your parts. Never used an anvil. Well, ain't gonna work. I'll figure it out. Oh, all right, here's what I came up with quick and dirty. Just a little strap. It's gonna hold those in place. Same kind of thing over here, a little bit deeper for the whatever those are called. And then here, for right now, we're just gonna weld that guy right about there. That way, the idea here is that all of it has an opening for trash. to fall out and not collect. These are going to get cut a little shorter. So that's the plan. Take it around back, finish weld these, weld all those in place after I clean them up. Trying to beat the sun here because it's about to be 100 degrees here in a few minutes. Whew, it's getting warm. All right, so I got my parts prepped, my surfaces prepped. Really what I should do is take the MIG and I should just tack these into place. That way it would be easy to change around later if I decided. But this is kind of artwork, so TIG just looks good, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna take it around back, TIG it all together, and then since it's a nice small joint, it'll be fairly easy to hammer apart and grind off later if I choose, which will probably happen. Anyway, let's get her done. Oh, and there's AC out back.
Drop that. Drop that.
For me, what, work it.
So as you probably just saw, I decided to fusion weld these because it's quick and easy, and these are not structural, they're just kind of holding stuff in place. So if I decide to bang them off with a hammer at any point and then grind those flush, you know, nice and easy. Also, I decided not to finish weld my little homemade I-beams because when this is in down mode, like that, and it has it raised up, if you go over a bump, this is allowed to fall down, and when it does that, the wheel flips that way and turns into this thing where it won't come back up. So I need to modify, either change these completely or modify these to where it'll stop at 90 degrees and then only raise back up. Put a little piece of angle iron or something in here, so I may have to pull each one of these hinges apart and weld a little piece of angle in there. Or something like that. So we're not going to finish weld that until I've decided what I'm doing there for me, so I can embiggen these holes. The largest drill bit I have for some reason is 1/2 inch. Either that or 7/8, and we're not going that big. So I got a large step bit coming. I'm going to embiggen these holes, finish everything up, and then I think I'm just going to put some rust fix on the whole thing after a good wire wheeling. Just about finished. So I had to embiggen the holes. For whatever reason, the grade 8 hardware didn't want to go in. Now it threads in just fine. The holes are drilled out to 5/8. That step bit I got is violent, but it's cool. On Cramazon, you should check them out. Anywho, we got one more thing left to do. These things, let me see if I can simulate. They'll fold under like this. So basically the slightest bump or divot or whatever, these things will fold under like that. So I need to stop that from happening. Once that's done, she's golden. So I think what we'll do tomorrow is I'm gonna rip it all the way down, wire wheel it, and then I'll throw some rust fix on this whole thing, and while it's drying, I'll tear these hinges apart and see if I can't modify them to not do that. And then it'll be done. Yay! I'm gonna get this bad boy stripped down this morning. And then I bought some muriatic acid. we're gonna try that to pull all the rust off before I put the rust fix on it. See how that goes. It's probably going to pull all the color out of my welds, but what are you gonna do? I also grabbed some inch and a quarter 1/8 angle iron, because that's just what they had. It's either that or 3/4. What I really need is 1 inch, but that's okay. We'll just grind a little off the top. It'll be all right. Here's what we got going on. Got some muriatic acid. I'm gonna try some on this base first. If I hate the way it looks on this base where you can't see it, then we'll just switch back over to the wire brush method. Also, here's a look at those welds I didn't finish. I wanted to come up in here, run this all together, and then put another plate on the bottom. But I'm not sure if these are gonna work. We gotta try and modify those later. All right, yo, I have never used this stuff before. So honestly, I'm a little scared. From what I understand, you just brush it on there and wait a little bit and then wipe it off. I guess we're gonna find out. The person I saw doing this used phosphoric acid. I can't find that locally, so we're using muriatic. I've seen this used on aluminum, and it didn't look all that scary. That was a long time ago, so we're just kind of go for it. Holy shit! That's cool. Whoa! Whoa! It's eating the concrete. Alright. Looks like it doesn't take very long at all. Alright. I'm sold. Wow! Oh, that's awesome! Oh, good. All right, let's see if we can't do a little hand channel action. So the issue is when this is down, there's nothing stopping it from falling further. So the plan here is we're going to take this piece of 1/8 here and slide her on in. I didn't grind it, I just cut it. Roughly center that bad boy. All right. Scribe a line. Now what we can do is use this reference line, take all of this apart, get in here and grind in this section, right? We'll drill a hole, roughly centered. We'll plug weld that to the ground section, lining it up with our scribe line. And then, once I know it works, we can come in here and run a bead on top. That should prevent us from falling any further when it's locked, and then it should still allow it to rise back up and do its sitting down thing. It don't move much. And then obviously I need to grind these a little bit, you know, get the burrs off and whatnot, and give her a good grinding just to make sure everything clears.
Gotta get rid of that stuff. No idea what's about to happen. Oh yeah. Chemistry. Yeah, so I'll come back to that another time.
Well, I wasn't gonna TIG weld these, but the machine's already set up. I would have to set up to MIG welders, so yeah, it's just faster. Let's do this. So I stuck it just slightly below the line. So it'll drop a little, but not much. Did that test. So let's weld them up.
You got it all inside of you. Feel it to be true. And when you dance, I'm in the groove. You make me move. You make me move. You got it all inside of you.
So what we did here was just the plug weld and then 3 little fusion tacks. That way, should this not work, I can just drill out the plug and break off the 3 little tacks. It'll be nice and easy. Should be plenty strong to just keep the wheel from falling. I don't know. We're gonna find out right now. Testing, 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 testing. Oh look, we're back where we started. Only this time, it's finished. So, I just threw some rust fix on here. I tested it. Everything is set, ready to go. The wheel thing totally worked. You probably saw that. For right now, I have no changes I would like to make other than to run the thing. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna learn a little bit of blacksmithing. Anyway, since this is like my first video, this is what I do. I make cool stuff. I put it on the internet. Mostly made out of metal nowadays, but there might be some occasional wood stuff. I build cars, yada yada, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, if you enjoyed this, do those the things down with the numbers and the whatever, with the hearts and the subscribing things. I'd really appreciate it. See you on the next one. You know, I realized that I absolutely hate it when YouTubers tell you last thing at the end of the video, did all the buttons for me. Because now I'm scrambling to rewind the video and, you know, hope that I can get there in time before the video pops to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this is that time. You can do it now. This is just like a post script to give you time to do all that. We're gonna see if this old hunk of junk will start. Yeah! When I said I like to build cool shit, that's what I mean.
Ladies and gentlemen.